the plethora of items, beautiful seashells, iron, ignats, even slaves that can be money,
Ingots.
ingots that can be money, all because of a sovereign's tax demands. Did you want to take this one away first?
Yeah, so I guess this is like, man, he went way back. So I'll start off at the beginning of money. 5,000 years ago, and of course I'm paraphrasing. This is real, by the way. I'm paraphrasing, so you guys do your own research on this, but I'll send you in the right direction. 5,000 years ago, we had our first like documented iteration of money, Mesopotamia. I forget exactly which commodity they use, but that's like our first like documented experience with money. And so
Five
you
thousand
could,
years ago, is that BC times? Yeah,
I think so.
it
Yeah.
has to be. Yeah,
We
that makes
had
sense.
it. It's like even before that, my assumption would be like we had iterations of money before that. You can't have human connection in an extended way without some type of currency or money in the middle. Like you really can't.
I was listening to
Money.
that. I was listening to that Lynn Alden Bankless podcast, and she was saying how, like, even on the hieroglyphics, it was like basically it was evidence of banks back then, and like even in the
Oh
book of
damn! I didn't
Deuteronomy.
even. I didn't even catch that
Yeah,
actually.
in the book of Deuteronomy, it was talking about like borrowing and lending. So it's like money goes like it's
Oh
like one of the
wow.
first
Yeah.
things that she
Yeah.
said.
No,
Yeah,
I
but go
didn't.
ahead.
I didn't even think about that. I mean, I didn't hear that. I probably was being a dad at that moment. You know, I'm
I'm
always
sure some stuff I
multitasking.
didn't hear too. It was pretty
Yeah.
dense. I'm gonna listen to it again.
But yeah, man, no, that's crazy. So yeah, that was an assumption. But just because Lynn Alden said it, now I think it's true because the woman does the research, guys. Go watch her if you haven't yet. But anyway, so yeah, my assumption was that it would be money or some iteration of money before the Mesopotamian times. And through that, you have an extension of like social connection. And so if we go through like what money is, some people would say it's a a lot of people would say it's a social construct. That's how they would start off. It's a social construct, but it's a lot that goes within that. Literally what I just said, I think is just 100% true. A social construct in that. Think about the more money that we make, I'm just meaning you and I, the more money we make, like our better years in terms of income, think about how much of a correlative that is to your network and how your network also grew that year. You know what I mean? And you could think about that on a massive scale. Like you got, like, let's take an entertainer. Entertainers, outside of what they do to entertain, usually have, no offense to you entertainers, but most of them have no other value, really. But still, because they were able to amass wealth, you see their connections go through the roof as well. So now they seem a lot smarter. They can pretty much do anything they want because of the wealth that they've accumulated, because they have so many more currency units to extend their social connections than the average person. And so they're just well connected. And so you can look at it that way. Now, where the sovereign tax demands come in, obviously, the place in which you live, your city, municipality, whatever you want to call it, they need some way to generate capital for the state. Now, that could be for infrastructure, that could be for whatever, right? That could be for corrupt purposes, whatever the reason is. They need to generate revenue, capital, some way. The way to do that is taxes. And so I'm trying to remember what he said, because I'm trying to make sure I keep tying it in.
Want me to read
But
it back in?
he started talking about shales, basically different types of commodities. So whatever that commodity is, whatever the most used commodity is during that time, if it was seashells or whatever, the tax would be paid in that commodity, like we do now with our legal tender, which is the US dollar. So that's
Yeah.
what he meant on that point. And also it was like a definition of money and what money is within that point. So
Yeah. Yeah, you pretty much hit the nail on the head. If I had anything to add, is basically there has been a lot of forms of money. People define money as a medium of exchange, store of value, and unit of account. There's been a lot of things to try to serve those purposes. People set on gold because of its properties. It hit like most of the things that in order to make it a good quality money, the visibility, portability,
scalability.
yeah,
I said
like
no, not scale. It doesn't. I don't think scalability is one of those. Divisibility, fungibility, portability,
verifiable, durability. Yeah, all these things. And like seashells, iron ignats, or however you said that,
ingots,
slaves, which is crazy. It's harder to do all those things. And they, in this book, they talk about how they define money as a promise. And we'll get into that later.
Yeah.